don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Is there a happy Thursday? Thank everyone that is able to join me for this live. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. This is In the City, Season 1, Episode 1. I think the thumbnail says extras. I apologize for that. This is In the City. This is the new show from some of the Summer House crew. I was very tentative about whether or not I was going to cover this, but I'll do a quick recap, review, and then see how I actually like the show, because certain ones of the cast have become extremely unlikable, and I don't really know if I want to cover it or not. I don't know. I'm going back and forth between how I feel about it. But I did watch the entire episode. It held my attention on it. There were some situations I was interested in. Of course, New York as a backdrop, which they can't go wrong with that. It's beautiful. It's summer in the city. They have just left Summer House and they're going back to New York, certain ones that are going to be here. So we are going to start out. If anybody comes in while I'm live, thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. If you would click the like button, I would appreciate that. Hello, Mama B's, one of the moderators. Thank you so much for joining the live. I'll have to change the thumbnail and everything because it was last minute impromptu, and I think it is still extras. But what it really is, this is in the city. So this is the new Summer House. Kind of not, it's not a reboot. They're leaving Summer House and going into the city to begin their big boy, big girl life, which they've already had that. Kyle's 43 years old. Mama B's comes in welcoming everyone, myself. Hey, Sandra P, chat and mods. Hello to yourself, Mama B's, and I hope you are doing well. This is the pre-weekend. So tomorrow will be Friday, and I hope everyone's going to have a great weekend. It's a long weekend. It's Memorial Day. So there's no school on Monday, no work on Monday, and a lot of different things that hopefully everyone's able to get into this weekend. So let's see. I'm going to start with In the City. We start with Kyle and Amanda. They are leaving Summer House, giving each other a long hug. And I'll say it's awkward to watch because we know all the things that actually happen in real time and also behind the scenes. So Kyle saying, I've started in my 20s and now I'm 43 and I'm realizing I could lose Amanda. Yeah, Kyle, you could lose Amanda, but we as the audience know she's already gone. But I don't know what's going to happen with her and West. I don't think West really wants her. Mama Bees is kind of like me. I watched. I'm not sure I'm going to keep watching. Yeah, I was curious as to where they were going to go with it, but I don't know how authentic it even is, Mama Bees. I don't know. So I'll recap it and I will see how much interest there is in it. If anything, it can just drop back to be one of the extras because there was a lot of news on the YouTube street that we could have been talking about as well. So we'll go ahead with the recap. But yeah, I feel like you kind of lukewarm, kind of meh, but we'll see. So he's giving her this long hug. They get to New York. Amanda arrives in their apartment. He's in there washing dishes. We get a confessional with her. She's in a big sweatshirt and jeans. I was with Kyle all these years. I'm trying to keep us together. She is playing this role of the long-suffering wife. I'm not a Summer House watcher, but I know that Kyle's been a two-legged dog ever since they've known each other. And she finally outplayed, and outlasted everybody else. And that's how she got him. And those of us that know women that have been able to do that, they always live to regret it. Best thing to do is just keep your mouth shut and wait for them to regret it. Support them if you can and just leave it at that. So yeah, I am tired of Kyle and Amanda. Mama Bees, I think they've really hurt this show. I don't know if maybe they should have waited. There are other characters here that are kind of interesting. Lindsay being one, but Lindsay's kind of annoying too. I don't know. I think Andy Cohen and the executives have a mess on their hands. They're getting all the free media they can stand, social media, Twitter, everywhere. Everybody's blog is talking about Kyle and Amanda. And now we're supposed to watch them Wednesday nights and know that half of what they're telling us is a lie. They're trying to fix this marriage that she's already moved on with their coworker and so-called friends. So this is crazy. So what I do like is that production keeps giving us an update as far as where we are, because we know Summer House just went off the air and they haven't even aired their reunion yet. But they've driven back to New York. They're back in New York. Kyle and Amanda are a married couple. They have a 4-year anniversary coming up. It happens on this show. And they have not, other than the summer house, she has spent a couple of nights away in a hotel. And we know that she's over there with West, or that's what they say. That's what the people are saying. So this whole thing is kind of crazy. I don't know. I'm curious to see what Andy and them are going to do with this. So they tell us 4 months later, they give the cryon, and we get Andy Cohen and all these headlines, Bravo News, all of the daily newspapers, everybody's talking about Sierra and Amanda on Watch What Happens Live. Then we get Amanda lying to Andy's face. I don't know why people are saying that. West gets on Watch What Happens Live and lies to Andy's face. Well, I mean, we're friends. I don't know what people are saying. Then they turn around after they're outed. There's a video or something. Well, the feelings started to evolve. There was a connection. We see Sierra crying on the street and upset. I'm kind of annoyed with Sierra. I know she's in her mid-20s. I know she's very young, but my little sister needs a lot more discernment in how she's choosing men. Wes doesn't seem to care anything about her. And her being such a strong friend and defender of Amanda, when I see Amanda as a very selfish person. I don't see Amanda as putting anything positive into anyone other than herself. And she is an energy vampire. We'll see that throughout this episode. And she's not likable enough to anchor a show, period. Whether she was cheating with the Dirtbox West or not, she's just not likable enough to like a show. 7 minutes in or less, and I'm already on a tangent about Amanda. This is going to hurt their show because I think they may get a lot of traction as far as people talking about it. I can't see a lot of positivities. Any of the women that I see defending Amanda, they probably jump off themselves or cheats. So they've got a nice New York apartment. Amanda comes in with the dog, and the dog, what struck me is that she sat down on the couch and put her feet up, and the dog did too. So they sit there looking homeless. Kyle is over there washing dishes and stuff. And then they start talking. He says, "How are you doing? I worry about you. Are you eating? You look skinny." Amanda tried to look pitiful. I'm sorry. Amanda loves this look. This is the look Amanda was going for. When Amanda first came on Summer House years ago, she's not a lot to look at. I know she comes from money and all this kind of stuff, but that doesn't do anything to your genes. Amanda is no Sierra. Sierra is rail thin. She is an ICU nurse. She is model pretty. And I love the girl next door look too, but Amanda's not even that. Amanda, I'm sorry. I can see why she would compare herself to a Sierra and find herself lacking. So she tries to look pitiful when Kyle is concerned about her. Are you eating? I think she loves this look. I really do. And she looks kind of sick to me too, among other rumors and different things that may or may not be going on as far as partying. So Amanda is telling Kyle that, and it just hurts. We've worked so hard. She's bringing down the show. Honestly, I mean, we just got here and they're already doing this sad sack thing. So Kyle is saying, he doesn't want to lose her, this, that, and the other. And she's saying the two of them are in therapy. I've worked as hard as I can. And I feel like she's going to put everything on Kyle. Now, Kyle, he's going through a lot with Loverboy, which is his business. He's in a lot of debt, but Kyle is looking good. I mean, he's 43, but he looks good. He looks young. Now, people get their faces pulled up and all this, but he doesn't look like that's going on. So Amanda's playing this role where she's this long-suffering wife, and Kyle is this, he's kind of a philanderer. And I think that's true. I mean, we can see him on Summer House. He drinks quite a bit. He parties. Now he has this new gig to bring in money where he is actually a DJ. And then something crazy is going to come up later as far as Kyle struggling for money and them as a married couple. We find out that there's no real need for them to struggle the way that Kyle has been struggling. We go to Lindsay's apartment. Lindsay is the influencer. Lindsay has a beautiful apartment. That influence money must be long, and the brand deals and all of that. We see her baby Gemma. We found out on Summer House that Lindsay was expecting. She was dating some man, and they ended up breaking up right before or right after Gemma was born. But Lindsay is like just walking through the apartment in her mom jeans and clothes, and Gemma gets up hollering. So Lindsay goes near and she's like, "Oh, Gemma, good morning. It's breakfast." And then she's in her confessional telling the audience that Gemma is just like her. and we see this death stare that Gemma does, and then they do a side-by-side where Lindsay does the same thing. We know Lindsay can be kind of a battle axe, but Gemma is a sweetheart. She just seems like she doesn't really take any stuff. Gemma's a baby. She's maybe like, I don't know, 10 months or something. She's walking. She might be 1. She could be 1. I can't really tell ages. So Gemma and Lindsay are getting ready for the day. We switch back to Kyle and Amanda's apartment. They're still talking about their relationship and all they're trying to do to save it. Mainly her. He's just waiting until she makes whatever decision she's going to make. She starts yelling about all the stuff that she's doing, how Kyle's not helping her. She reminds me of Bethany, y'all, down to the bones. She reminds me of Bethany. She just got those bratty vibes. So then she starts crying. Kyle's like, well, I'm not the only one in this marriage that have kind of misstepped. And she said, I can't believe that you would think I would do anything that's unfaithful. Some kind of word she used that was weird. And it was really strange, especially now we know that Amanda is a cheat. Welcome in, American Born. Thank you so much for joining. Good evening, Sandra P's Gen Extra. Thank you for joining. Mama Bees was in here as well. American Born, we watched the first episode, found it to be meh, but I do need content and I'm reviewing it anyway. I'm sorry I had extras up there. This is actually in the city review. I'm going to do an extras later, but thank you for coming in during the live. Good to see you. Yes, she really acts like Bethany. Yeah, I couldn't figure out who she was reminding me of, but just the unlikability, if that's even a word, the way she is, just she's a battle axe. I don't want any man to cheat or do any of the things and then say, well, if my wife wasn't such a ball and chain, I wouldn't be doing this, that, and the other. I hate to say it. I can understand why Kyle doesn't want to come home. She's yelling about all the stuff that she does. Kyle is the reason for their marriage kind of being on the rocks. Now that we know, we've watched and heard enough about Summer House, we know that that's not true. She's crying, you question my faithfulness in any capacity. It really effing hurts. And then when she cries, she literally does this, like. So I think this is what's going to happen during the reunion. I also heard that they're going to baby her on the reunion and try to cut out certain scenes where she doesn't look that great. So she said, and if you're calling me a cheat, I've been cheated on. She said, you had a one-night stand. Kyle said, I had a one-night stand. And she said, you made out with someone. She's listing all of Kyle's sins. Kyle said, I made out with someone. He's shocked. He said, were we married? I don't remember that. And she said, I had to laugh at Amanda. She said there was video. So now she's lost the tears that she's got him. She got him on the grill. She's cooking Kyle. He's like, but the two of them, we know that none of this is true. They're not really trying to save this marriage. It is already over with. Welcome, NCC. It is so good to see you. This is In the City, Season 1, Episode 1, and we are in a miserable scene with Kyle and Amanda trying to convince the audience that they're trying to work on their marriage, and we all know she's cheating with one of the co-workers and one of Kyle's friends, West. Mama Bees and Cece are speaking to each other. They are sister moderators. Thank both of you for joining. American Born is in here as well. So Kyle starts getting choked up. I care about you as a friend. I care about your mental health. And she tells him, it's not your place to do that. This lady is terrible. They're not even divorced yet. She spent literally 2 days away from the home. She's already telling this man that her husband, it's not his place to even care about her or her mental health. But when they were cooking her on these blogs, Kyle came out and said, I'm worried about Amanda and her mental health. Weather. We're getting weather, everybody. We're getting weather. So I'm going to have to make sure that I can't elaborate. What I will do is just make sure I'm going to go ahead and just get as much done as I can. That's In the City again. Well, Kyle and Amanda, but then I'll try to introduce most of the characters. I'll do that. So I'm not going to do teleprompter and all that because I lost internet and I can see that I was gone. So I apologize for that, everybody. Everyone is speaking to each other. Thank you so much for coming into the live for In the City. So I'm a little tired of these two already. So we get Amanda and Kyle acting, pretending to talk about their marriage. We get Gemma. Gemma is the daughter of Lindsay. Lindsay is a cutie. Not Lindsay. Gemma is the cutie. Lindsay is her mom. And then we're going to have a lot of these different characters. Let me just introduce them. Okay, I've shared the rest of we'll call him the B-roll. This is Kenny. Kenny up here at the top, he's a biracial young man. We find out he lost his mom. He's kind of a dog. I don't care for him too much. He is a friend of Kyle's. He parties with Kyle. And he has moved this young lady, Whitney, down here at the bottom, this beautiful brunette. She's left wherever she lived and moved cross country. I think she said she was from Minnesota. She is a Midwest girl. Kenny's from the Midwest too, but he's been in New York for years as a venture capitalist. He has moved her to New York. They've been dating less than a year. They met a year ago and they've been dating seriously for 6 months. And then this person next to him, Owen. Owen is dating someone that was on the show before. I feel like her name is Danielle. I don't know if they put her on here or not. But Danielle she has kind of like conflict with Lindsay. She can't stand Lindsay. And production even shows us where Danielle stood up on Lindsay at her dinner table at the summer house and ended up throwing a drink in her face. She also was not a friend to Lindsay when Lindsay was carrying Gemma. Once Lindsay broke up with Gemma's father while they were still waiting on the arrival of their child. And her so-called friend ended up saying to her, "Seems to me you're going to be single momming it." If somebody said that to me, they wouldn't be my friend. And actually, she's never met Gemma. And we're going to see her later. She says, "I can't believe we used to be best friends. And now a few things have happened. And she doesn't want to be my friend." I think she just wants to be friends with Lindsay again and rekindle because Lindsay's an influencer. Lindsay has Summer House, or had. I think we've seen the last of them. And Lindsay has this show. And Danielle wants to be a part of it. Mama B's. He's a dog, but he's fine. Doesn't Kyle look really good? I was kind of surprised to see that he looked really good. And I think Amanda thought she won the prize, but she kind of got a booby prize because everyone's had their turn. And he actually, to me, shows more emotion toward other women than he does toward Amanda. He showed, I know he said out of his mouth, like, "You're thin, are you eating?" and pretending he's concerned, but he seemed a little annoyed with Amanda to me. That's just what it seemed like to me. Okay, let me go back in and see if I can. I had loaded my notes in a couple different places, but then I lost the internet. Toot, welcome in. It's great to see you in the live. This is In the City. So that's who these people are next to me. It's just meth too. I don't know if it's going to make it or not, but I'm trying to do a recap on it. So the Summer House, most of the people, some of the people, not even half. The main ones, Kyle and Amanda. Amanda's not likable enough to anchor the show. And Kyle, we know they're having marriage problems, but they're trying to convince us that they're trying to make a go of it in New York with his lover boy company. So they keep saying that too. They'll put up Kyle Cook, CEO of Loverboy. They're really trying to reintroduce these people. And let me see. I had that. I want to show the In the City backdrop that I had, because the list of people, those are the other kind of like the B characters, and then the other In the City that I had from Bravo, that shows everybody. I can't expand it, but that is everybody. They're standing on kind of like a stoop. So of course we see Kyle and Amanda in this one. We don't see them in the other one, but this Kyle, Amanda, and Lindsay. This is their show. And I think Lindsay's going to be really interesting because she's an influencer. She has her little baby, Gemma. And I just like that dynamic with Gemma and her mommy just making their way of it in New York. They had a really cute scene where she gets Gemma up. She's trying to get her ready for breakfast and stuff. Gemma's not having any of it. She's screaming, hollering, having a terrible time. Lindsay can't really do anything with her. And then there's a scene where the nanny comes in. She has a nanny named Liz. She's a nice looking Black woman. She's got a little mohawk and everything's real cool looking. When I tell you that little baby started cheering and clapping and it was like, ah. So Lindsay, you better work from home some more. I thought that was really cute. Everyone is speaking to Toot Latrice as she comes in. So Kyle and Amanda, I like how they switch between the scenes. They're trying to get us rekindled with everybody, even though Summer House just went off 5 minutes ago and they haven't even had the reunion yet. So Amanda was crying. She watched him cheat all these years. So now she's the last woman standing and she wants us to feel sympathy for it. I don't. Here's what I will give to In the City. I love New York. Anyone who's been here, you know I'm from Yonkers. So maybe 20 minutes north of New York City. New York, the scenery, everything about it, I love it. These apartments, beautiful. I just love it. Lindsay as an influencer, I think she's making some money. Then we see Gemma. It's so funny. She put Gemma in a high chair. Gemma turned around, looked dead at the camera, and laughed. So I love when they have kids on these shows. This is a baby, and she is hilarious. She's probably my favorite part about it. That baby's faces were cracking me up. American Born, wasn't she funny? When she deadpanned the camera, I said, this little girl is a mess. And then we have Amanda and Lindsay. They're friends. They meet. They go to the grocery store. Gemma's in her stroller. Amanda got on my nerves. Have you ever given her this? It's some of the stuff that looks like in the applesauce thing, but it's meat. She's like, it's ground meat. And Lindsay said, no, I don't give her that. Gemma was looking at it like, I don't eat that stuff. She was eating something else like cheese puffs. And then Amanda says, oh, I give it to my dog. And I said, if you give it to the dog, why are you trying to feed it to Gemma? Gemma was looking crazy too, like she was annoyed. Toot showing love to everyone with purple hearts, and everyone is speaking back, also to Cece. So let me put the other picture up. Kenny is the venture capitalist, his girlfriend of 6 months, even though they met a year ago. Whitney, they mentioned some other show. I want to say The Bachelor. I feel like she was on The Bachelor. Yvonne is this young lady right here in the middle, all the way to the side. She is good friends with Lindsay. They've been friends for 13 years. I love that. They've been friends a long time. And she also is kind of like a godmother to Gemma. She wants children of her own. Her husband doesn't really want that. His name is Nick. He's at the bottom in the middle. Nice looking young man. They show us a model who is, the model is, I'm sorry, it's one of the blondes. They got Andreas is Italian. We met him on Summer House, and he got married in Italy. He said Kyle was at the wedding, but Kyle came single. We find out that Kyle goes almost everywhere alone, and Amanda is just living her street life or whatever it is she's doing, messing around with West. So we find out Danielle caught the bouquet. So she's supposedly the next one to be married, but Owen already has a wife. Owen used to be a tennis star, and now he teaches tennis. And Danielle's bragging about how he's helping her kind of up her game. She wants to have a baby. Now, in real time, y'all, this girl is pregnant with this married man's baby. And allegedly, she was supposed to be friend of, but Lindsay barely talks to her. Lindsay pays her dust because when Lindsay was pregnant and broke up with Gemma's dad, this girl told her, you're going to be single momming it. Now, not only is she single momming it, but she is carrying someone else's husband. So I don't like to call kids bastards and all that kind of stuff, but you know, Webster's dictionary has certain definitions, and I don't know. She can call her baby whatever she would, but I don't think that Lindsay would say she's single momming it. Welcome in, Ophelia Burkhalter. It is good to see you in the chat. This is the new In the City, and I apologize everyone that you've come in. I think I had extras up, but I'll have to do that later. And American Born says, Amanda makes me sick. She gets on my nerves too, American Born. I don't think that she's likable enough to anchor a show. I really don't. And now that we find out that Kyle's been going everywhere alone, she's out here dating West, even though West, I think, is not taking her seriously. He just wants to give it a respectable amount of time before he can move on. Honestly, I heard rumors that he may have already have another girlfriend that's not Amanda. So she's out here really looking stupid. Now, I didn't watch all the Summer House this season, but I am going to watch the reunion, and we'll do something like one of the extras on it. It won't be a full review. So y'all, while they were in the grocery store, Amanda ends up telling Lindsay, she says, yeah, well, when we got home, we decided to spend a couple nights apart. And we find out that either Kyle asked her to spend a few nights apart, or she decided that she wanted to. There's a scene later where she says they need time apart. Now in Summer House, Sierra actually mentioned that. I want Sierra to stay out of these married people's business. I feel like she was way too forward and trying to protect Amanda as her friend and flying up in Kyle's face. That's a married man. I think Sierra was out of line for that. I didn't like that. But she says, and I never paid rent because we were married. Now they were married 3+ years. They're going on 4 years. They actually have the 4-year anniversary during this show. She said, and he never asked me for rent. He covered everything. Kyle's in deep debt. He has sunk $500,000 of his own money in Loverboy. which is not making a profit yet. And now he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. He's DJing like Erica Jane and Meredith, just trying to make ends meet. So he asked Amanda, you hadn't paid anything for years. And she wants to know, well, I'm your wife. I don't pay rent. He asked her for the money. Do y'all know this woman had $117,000 that she paid him? Lindsay is crazy. She was like, oh, Lindsay was going crazy. I see where Gemma gets all that reactions because she had a fit, y'all. I thought that was crazy. Ophelia is speaking back to everyone that spoke to her as she came in. Thank you for coming in during the live. Thank you. And American Born says, I watched and it was so obvious something was going on with Wes. Yeah, so if you watch Summer House, that is what the people that were watching it was saying. And when you watch it later, a lot of people have been able to isolate things, and you'll see him with his hands on her, hands around her waist. And as a married woman, I don't think she should have allowed that. And sometimes they would be just like hugging and all up in each other's face. It was kind of crazy. So they are talking about what's going to go on between Amanda and Kyle. And Lindsay seems genuinely shocked. She didn't know it was that bad. Now, she just spent weeks in the summer with them in Summer House. She didn't know it was that bad. Wes knew because Wes was already sleeping with her, allegedly. So I don't want to be unfair to Amanda, but I'm sorry, I cannot stand her, especially now what we're seeing. So we see a clip of one of the friends is saying, oh, Sierra was saying that maybe Kyle and Amanda should separate. Little did Sierra know that Amanda was already separated in her mind and was over here with Wes. Now, in fairness, Sierra was no longer dating Wes, but still, I find the whole chain of events really trifling, and I don't mind people dragging Amanda. So Lindsay's trying to advise Amanda, and I like to advise Lindsay. I don't think she should be trying to advise married people either. Amanda is saying that we're in therapy. My therapist told us that we're probably not going to make it. I think Amanda's a liar. I don't think a therapist would say that in couples therapy. I don't think so. And she said a couple of other things later. I hope I wrote it down. She claims the therapist said, I don't think the therapist said that. So unless they were over there with Dr. Brian, I think Amanda's lying. I don't like her. So Andreas and Lexi, that is her name, the other blonde. Andreas and Lexi got married in Italy over the summer. We find out that Lindsay was already pregnant with Gemma, but nobody knew. It was just rumors at the time. Kyle was at the wedding in Italy alone. So Amanda's been living single life for quite a while. Speaking to Ophelia Burkhalter, everyone that spoke to everyone that came in. Thank you all. So all of the friends are kind of meeting each other. The venture capitalist biracial guy, Kenny, he and Kyle meet on the street. They said they've known each other for 10 years. I don't know. They don't seem that close. I didn't like the way Kenny was kind of talking about Kyle in his confessional. He says, yeah, I know him. We kind of go out. We party a little bit. And the producer actually said, why'd you give that little smirk? He said, oh, he's a bit of a lush. I don't know men that talk about their male friends. I didn't like that. That just seemed kind of itchy to me, Kenny. I didn't like you doing that. But then again, he's had Whitney move cross country and they don't have a real commitment. So there is another bar. I didn't write the name down. Culture. I don't know. I'll have to pull it up. I didn't write the name down, but it is, hopefully it's going to be a meeting point. This guy in the cap, he is the owner of that bar. And for some reason, we get Kenny explaining the bar to us. I may get to drink free because my best friend owns the bar. I think his name is Gavin. So Gavin, everybody's sitting there. Gavin's hosting everybody. Gavin, I hope you don't start doing that. Let these people pay for their drinks. Plus, they shooting a whole show. I wouldn't allow that. So they're all waiting for Lindsay to show up. They watch Lindsay through the window. Lindsay's used to being an influencer. She's walking through the streets like she's on a runway. So Kenny's like, look at that strut. Y'all, I don't know, but Kenny and Lindsay, they have a little bit of tension between each other. I think Whitney better watch out because Lindsay was saying she might be on the prowl. So everybody gets there and we find out that Danielle is coming, but we already know Danielle's coming back. But Lindsay finds out and her friend wants to know, well, are you going to talk to her? She said, I don't even need that type of negativity in my life. And I don't blame her to tell her you're going to be single momming it. And now here she is carrying a married man's baby. If I were Lindsay, I wouldn't speak to her either. So she came in, hi. That was Danielle. They spoke to Danielle, but Lindsay just totally ignored her. She's like, I'm going to go to the restroom. She didn't pay her any attention. Mama B says, I don't see what the ladies see in the cave dweller, West. He looks unkempt. Mama B's, I think he's one of those guys that think he's too cool for deodorant or something. I don't know, but I know what you mean by unkempt. I don't like how he tries to have his hair like I'm not going to use the term that certain people call those kind of guys that pick up swag from other people. Kind of, he's a wannabe. That's a very polite way of saying what I want to call him. I don't like West. And I think he wanted to see, like, well, could I pull a Sierra? And then he was able to pull her. And then she's all out here in her feelings and crying on the street over the Neanderthal over here with his unwashed legs. I don't like that man at all. So again, Kyle has revealed to his friend Kenny that he has lost over 500. Well, he's not lost, but sunk that amount of money in his business. He appreciates his advice, all this other kind of stuff. I don't know what kind of advice Kenny's giving him, but the way he was talking about him, even in the confessional, I don't know that I would trust Kenny. So Amanda's saying she's had such a rough summer, and we are back with Kenny and Kyle. Kyle's telling Kenny that between his marriage and his business, he don't know like what he's going to do to kind of get over what he's going through. And then Kenny's saying, well, for some reason, I've never seen where Amanda is really able to relate to you on that level. I don't know what Kenny was saying, but Kyle, it sounded like he wasn't really speaking too highly of your wife either. So I don't know. Kenny's just very direct. At the scene that they are in with the bar, Lindsay is meeting his girlfriend, Whitney, finding out Whitney just moved cross country. How long have you been together? Lindsay is one of those people that will ask a lot of probing questions, but you can answer or not. Kenny's starting to feel like on the spot. And then she said, well, what's the commitment level? He says, well, we met a year ago. We started seriously dating 6 months ago. Lindsay's like, and she moved cross country? She said, with no commitment? That's a lot. No ring? And he said, oh, I'm getting a hate men vibes. And she said, no, I just don't like annoying men. And everybody there at the bar was like, ooh. So y'all, these people, I know they're in their 40s, some of them in their 30s, but it was kind of juvenile. So Danielle comes over, hi, and she tries to pull Lindsay aside, she wants to know, well, can we go out? Can we have lunch? Can we do this? Can we do that? And then Lindsay just said, can I think about it? Because she's not in a place where they're going to be okay again. Whitney gets a whole confessional. Whitney, I don't know why. I don't think you're long for this relationship with Kenny. I really don't. He had more chemistry with Lindsay, and they were kind of arguing. So in her confessional, she's saying, I've always looked at myself as some kind of little angel. My parents were high school sweethearts. I'm a sucker for love and all this kind of stuff. So Gavin is saying, Lindsay seems like she's really sweet, but not Lindsay. The girlfriend, Whitney. Kenny's kind of a creep. Kenny and Whitney get a confessional together, and Kenny says, I may or may not have had an app on my phone where I could look at the cameras and Whitney stopped him like, you can't say that. Y'all, this man was getting ready to say like he would look in the bar and see, you know how certain men are like, hey, what's the talent like? He was doing that. So he's looking at women that don't know that they're being spied on. Garrett, I wouldn't have let this man, he wouldn't have had access to cameras in my bar. It was almost like Brian double dosing ruler with alcohol. Some of these men are so predatory, it's scary. So luckily, Whitney stopped him and saved him from himself. Kenny, you can tell he wasn't always nice looking. You can tell that he's kind of like feeling himself that he's in New York, he's a venture capitalist, and that he wasn't always that. You could tell just the way he carries himself. Kind of smarmy. Next, y'all, the next day, we see Amanda and Kyle. They are meeting on the street. Amanda's in a trench coat, heavy jeans. I mentioned that because it's summer. Kyle is in shorts, a t-shirt, and the people walking by on the streets of New York are in like summer clothes. So they start getting into it again. She said, let's see, he has a Loverboy shirt on. That's what he had on, short sleeve shirt. I put therapists don't talk like that to their clients. But I didn't put down what he said. Oh, she said, my therapist even said that she thinks that we're going backwards. I don't know that a therapist would say that. They think they're going backwards. So then she says that I don't want to go out with the group. The group's going out again. Kyle puts his shades on. Amanda's yelling in the street. I don't know why Amanda is yelling. I thought something was wrong with her. She's screaming, I don't want to effing call it quits. I don't want to effing call it quits. I'm getting out of here. I'm sweating. I'm scratching. He said, that's because you're in a trench coat. You're in a raincoat. She started yelling, it's not a raincoat. Y'all, it was a raincoat. It was a trench. It was a nice trench, but it wasn't for New York summer or any other summer. This was crazy. Production, y'all don't like Amanda? Production pinned to her head. They show her like scratching and sweating. And then they pinned down all the way down her raincoat, trench coat, so we could decide it was a raincoat. And then they show her jeans that, yes, these are full-length jeans on the street. So then she says, I'm struggling. He said, well, you're struggling. I'm struggling. I just want you to be happy. I want you to be happy with me. And she says, we're going backwards. Even the therapist said, we're going backwards. I think she's lying. So she says, I'm not going to meet you guys out. And she leaves. Then later we get another scene with Sad Sack Amanda and this group of ladies. Y'all, they're trying to make her the cornerstone of this group. I don't think she is. I think Lindsay is. And I think Kyle is for the men. I think Kenny wants to be. Maybe that's why he's speaking negatively of Kyle in confessionals and stuff. Kenny, that's the wrong road. This is Kyle's show. And if it doesn't work, it's not going to be you that saves it. So this is a mess. Then another Gemma sighting. I feel like I saw Gemma again. The other married couple, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going to happen with poor Yvonne. I think her husband, Nick, think he is finer than her. She said he's kind of disinterested. All of our friends are at a place where they're married, or if they're not, they have children. And we've been together almost 4 years. And every time I bring it up, he doesn't want to talk about it. So I wanted him to see what it's like without me. I went to San Diego. He didn't even know I was gone. So they show production. He was just chilling with his dog on the couch. They were having a good time. Then he looked around. He asked the dog, where's mommy? And the dog looked at him like, I don't know. And then she said, he didn't even know I was there. I had to tell him. I had to let him know. If you watch true crime, you would actually be the first suspect. And she said she's surprised she's not on Snap. No, that was the other lady that said she's surprised she's not on Snap. They have some other woman. She reminds me of Carol from New York. She is some type dermatologist or something, but she's doing everything that they all do now. She had 2 or 3 kids with her husband. And then when she was pregnant with the last one, he jumped up and left her, the kids, and the dog. She said, so she went a little bit crazy. So I can tell that she's a little bit crazy already. The friends go to her office to pick her up. And what I did like, she was prepared. She was in her doctor's coat, but she said, I have all my clothes. I have this ready. I have that ready. Give me 5 minutes. They were already dressed, but they give her 5 minutes. She comes out dressed for her little night out in New York. So they go somewhere where they can eat and drink. Amanda's there. And Lindsay says, Amanda, I just have to tell you, we've already been talking about you because I've had to fill everybody in, meaning the whole world knows you cheating with West, and now the New York girls know too. So Amanda said, well, that's okay, but I want to get the tea and everything too. And that's when she says, oh, Lindsay, your good friend Danielle. Amanda's so glad to tell on somebody that's not her. Your good friend Danielle, you know Owen, he is married. Yes, he's still married. Lindsay's like, oh my God, she's such a hypocrite. She said, and they're trying to have a baby. And Lindsay's like, oh my God. She didn't know what to do. And the other ladies were like, what? Owen? Oh, I can't believe he would do that. I don't like Owen. He's the one in the top middle. I think he would do that. He's got a funny face. I don't like, there's something about him. And since he was a tennis star at the time, I guess he was maybe not Agassi days. Agassi might be a little older than him. Maybe he came along with, I don't know who he came up. Maybe Sampras. No, that's Agassi. He's a little younger. I never heard of Owen. I know his name's spelled funny and he's got a big head. And he shouldn't be out here still married and having a baby with Danielle. But I like the fact that Lindsay is going to give it to Danielle the rest of the season because I don't like Danielle. And she did not tell her whether or not they're going to meet for drinks or not. She just told her, let me think about it. And she left her hanging. Gavin with the cap, he owns the bar, but I'm sorry, Gavin, they're using you to come in here and get free drinks. We didn't hear anything else about Gavin other than the fact that he owns this bar and that they come in here and drink. So y'all, that was the end of the episode. I feel like I'm leaving some stuff out, but that's all right. It wasn't really that great. It was just okay. Everybody was okay with the exception of Amanda. I didn't like Amanda. Kyle, even though I know he's a 2-legged dog, he's turned into somebody that's a little more sympathetic, seeing how Amanda is and that she would lie whenever she gets ready to lie. I give it a 6. I was going to give it a 7, but I'm going to give it a 6. Just because you can't even get a good hour out of it. I mean, it's an hour show, but the recap is not even an hour. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen after the Summer House reunion. I want to see what's going to happen if Danielle and Lindsay are not able to rekindle the friendship. I don't think they're going to be able to rekindle because Lindsay has her real friends in New York. She's not going to bring this Summer House friend into her life. Like she said, she doesn't need the negativity. And she's a mom. She's a mom anytime. But in New York, she has to worry about Gemma and the content she's creating. Well, she's influencer, whatever it is she does. Her apartment. Gemma has a nanny. She has all her other friends she's managing. So I think she's not going to let Danielle back into her life. And we don't care about Danielle otherwise. Again, allegedly, Danielle's only on this show because Bravo found out she's having a baby with a married man. That's it, everybody. Let me see. I'm going to put up this other Bravo in the city. Okay, there we are. I'll see if there's anything else that happened on this. All right, Kyle. Let's see. Kyle Cook reveals how he really feels about Amanda Batula moving out before they split. Y'all, they had already split. I think everybody knew it but Kyle. So that's another reason why I had a little bit of compassion for him. Even though he's cheated over the years, I can't say that he would deserve what's happening to him. Because he looks humiliated, honestly. This was the wedding in Italy, which Kyle went to alone.
Probably make you cry.
Oh, no, that's...
You had a kid with a guy in 2 months.
That's Lindsay.
Vlog called me a homewrecker.
Is that true?
Go yourself.
To Yvonne and Nick.
Nick, are you married to Yvonne or not?
Okay, that is Nick and Yvonne that I said when she left town and went to San Diego for a few days, that man didn't know that she was going, had to ask the dog. And I think production told him. Look at Yvonne looking stupid. And they've only been married 4 years. Now she wants a child. He won't talk about it with her.
Yes, that's not what you said at boys' night.
That's Gavin. Gavin owns the bar. He's feeding these people free drinks. And he is also a person that will yak, yak, yak. He's the one that told the group that Kenny is kind of a playboy and that he might have used his mother's passing, rest in peace to Kenny's mom, to grieve. He said the stages of grieving were, I think he said like sadness and pain and then effing around. It was really kind of gross. He was talking like that at the bar, y'all.
Bombshell news in Summer House's Kyle and Amanda have broken up.
So what happened?
Are you ready for this? This season on In the City.
Did y'all see that look on Amanda's face? She think that's cute. She thought that this was going to be like her breakout thing. Like, look, I'm a baddie. I can pull somebody else's man. I don't think this is going how Amanda thought it would. And now she's getting all depressed about it. She looks unwashed too. She's walking around the streets of New York and down bad. And now Sierra's getting everything she ever wanted.
City. Milk's night out. Did that guy just burp on me?
Summer should be fun, even in the fall.
Hey, cutie.
Hey, Mandy.
Oh. We're all trying
Y'all see Wes with his dirty self hugging his friend's wife on the street. There's Lindsay.
to figure out how to be real life adults finally.
Want to borrow some pants?
My children eat dog treats.
I don't even know what kind of condoms to get. Ask your ChatGPT.
What do people wear these days?
But we're basically tripping everywhere we go.
I could faint over Botox in my ass.
In your butt?
It's called buttock.
I want to put a baby in you.
I get sore too.
That's the model couple that got married in Italy. Andreas is cute. I like him. And I like Lexi with him. She's cute too.
Once you guys are done, he lifts you up.
Like a prosciutto.
Can't believe my stuff's gonna be here this week.
She moved across the country before the ring.
I'm getting I hate men vibes.
I got you a little something.
And y'all, nothing happened between what Lindsay said and what he said. She said, she moved across the country before the ring. And that man said, I'm getting you hate men vibes. And that's when Lindsay said, I just hate annoying men. So they're going to have a little something going on between them. But honestly, I saw more chemistry between him and Lindsay than I did with him and Whitney.
You know what that's called? Manipulation.
You can only get pregnant for 12 hours. I thought about our conversations around having a baby. something that I've wanted my entire life, a family that was taken away from me.
I'm choosing partners that continue to abandon me, and it's made me feel like I should be ashamed.
I've never been happier in my life.
Danielle walking down the street with it's pronounced Owen, Eoin, which annoys me in and of itself. But he's somebody else's husband, everybody.
Entire life.
Meanwhile, he has a whole ass wife still.
Lindsay, it's an internet sleuth on my man.
Christ!
And look who's talking. Amanda, you have a whole husband and Kyle has a whole wife and you over here in the bed with West.
Also still mad that you wore a white dress at my wedding.
It's pinky, bitch.
Everyone bows down to Lindsay, and I'm sick of watching it.
You're supposed to be my best friend, and you treat me like shit.
Stop running your mouth.
I'm gonna leave right now because you're talking to a wall. I'm not a wall.
You moved your whole life here for him. I will move it right back out.
Have you been lying to me for years?
You're the Bernie Madoff of hospital.
Kenny and Gavin, again, I told y'all what I think about that friendship. He's just allowing him to use him.
Yeah.
Who was in our apartment last night? While I'm asleep? You know how many times you cheated on me?
I think is wrong. Lay off me, dude.
I'm in tears watching my friend demolish their relationship.
You don't have a prenup, but if you come for me, I'll come for you.
Y'all know Amanda comes from money. I told y'all she owed 4 years back rent. And Kyle, that was dirty. That lady do not owe you any rent. Y'all are married. 4 years back rent, and she just here. And she knew he was struggling. $117,000. I had to give it up to to Amanda for that. That was a trip.
That'd be a losing battle.
Are you threatening me?
I have a baby daddy, an ex-fiance. I absolutely need therapy.
Everyone needs therapy.
Especially in New York.
We're all
I told y'all these two had chemistry. Now remember, Whitney moved across country to live with Kenny. So why is he flying up in Lindsay's face?
In the City, new series May 19th on Bravo and streaming on Peacock.
I don't know. There's a bunch of storylines, everybody. So there's a bunch of storylines. I gave it a 6.5. Maybe I'll bump it up to a 7 because I'm kind of curious now about what's going to happen rest of the season. And Cece was speaking. Oh, you were driving? Okay, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Why are mediocre people getting a show? Cece, that's what I'm concerned about. I don't know if this is going to be able to draw the audience. I barely watch Summer House. I just know what was happening because of social media. And now we get old long face, long back Amanda West, who looks like he needs a good shower. And then Kyle over here. I don't know what Kyle's going to be doing. His own friend said he's over here a bit of a lush, which you shouldn't say about your friend. If that's really your friend, that's a little bit crazy. CDW, hello. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. I just finished actually reviewing In the City. This is the new show. So y'all, that was actually it. I'm going to leave that to this. Since I realized, I think I had this up as extras. I'm going to change the thumbnail and all of that and just put it in here as, a real extras. And those of you that can come back, please do. If not, I'll just go down a list. I have about 4 or 5 topics. So I'm going to go out, and then everyone who can come back, I would appreciate if you will. And it should be a pretty short extras. I don't even know what time it is. Let me see. Oh, okay. I'll start it at 6:30 so I can get the thumbnail and everything up. So if you're able to be here, I would appreciate that. And it won't be too long. It'll be the extras. And then this will be my In the City review. Season 1, episode 1. But Cece said basically what it was. Why are mediocre people getting a show? So I will see you in the YouTube streets, hopefully here within about 10 more minutes or so. And thank you so much for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra, everybody. Bye.
I don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good. That I don't.